Alright, hey guys, On Gamer here, and I'm back with another video. And today, guys, I'm doing another episode of games I brought online. It's going to be episode 5. And in case you guys aren't familiar, this is the series where I show you guys just a bunch of random games that I've purchased online throughout the last couple months or so. And yeah, so it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to show you guys a bunch of games I brought. These were all brought from eBay since the new year, pretty much. So starting things off with the first game we have here, we have Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam for the Game Boy Advance. Loose card, as you can see. Yeah, some of you probably didn't even know they made a GBA version of Downhill Jam, but they did. This was the last Tony Hawk game I needed to complete my GBA collection, because if you guys remember in the previous episode of this series, I brought a complete in-box copy of Tony Hawk's American Skateland back in like November, I think it was. And so for Downhill Jam, I didn't decide to get complete in box because it is, if you look online, it is stupidly expensive complete in box. So I was just completely, fine with just getting a loose card. So yeah, and this one was for sale for $6.99, and I brought it right away because this is one expensive freaking game, even loose car. And sometimes, like, I've noticed there's been quite a lot of like, bootlegs and stuff for sale of this game, but this one is an authentic car, which I'm really happy about. So yeah, Downhill Jam for the GBA. Now I've got this, my Tony Hawk GBA collection is now fully complete, which I'm really, really happy about. And now that I've got this as well, it also now means that I've actually already got every single version of Downhill Jam that was released. So we've got the PS2 version, the Wii version, and the Nintendo DS version. And of course the Game Boy Advance version as well. So yeah, so my Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam collection is now complete. I now own every single version of this game, which I know this isn't a Neversoft made Tony Hawk game. It was made by, I believe, Toys for Bob. Well, the PS2 version was made by Super Villain Studios, but the original Wii version was made by Toys for Bob. The DS1 was made by, I think, Vicarious Visions. Yeah, Vicarious Visions. And the GBA version was made by Double Impact, I think. I know it was the only GBA Tony Hawk that wasn't made by Vicarious Visions. They made like all the top-down isometric ones for the GBA. But yeah, but still really cool now that I have every version of Downhill Jam. So yeah, really happy to have that, and happy to finally complete another set in my Tony Hawk collection. Still got a long ways to go. I am trying to get the full set, every version of every good Tony Hawk game. So yeah, I've still got quite a lot missing, but I am making progress, which is good. Moving on to yet another Tony Hawk game, this time a console one. Here we have Tony Hawk's American Wasteland for Nintendo GameCube. Just like with Downhill Jam, this was the only Tony Hawk on the GameCube that I was missing. And I put this on my Christmas list actually last year, and unfortunately I didn't end up getting it. So during the new year, I brought my own copy on eBay, and yeah, this was $9.99, so basically 10 quid, which I thought was pretty cheap for this version of the game specifically. Just like with Downhill Jam on the GBA, this is the most expensive Tony Hawk on the GameCube. It's not like super expensive, but it is like noticeably more pricier than like the other ones. But yeah, and it is complete. You can see right there, disc and manual. And yeah, now finally my GameCube set is complete. I've now got every Tony Hawk game on the GameCube, which is really cool. So yeah, so I got that for 10 quid. Alright, and then moving on to a game which, I'll be honest, I didn't need to own at all, but I wanted to own it just for like the novelty of it, and just because I thought it was pretty neat to have. Atari Anniversary Edition Redux for the original PlayStation. Yeah, so this is an old Atari compilation, obviously for the PS1. Released back in 2001. It wasn't the first ever Atari compilation, but it was one of the very first. It was made by Digital Eclipse, the same guys who would later go on to do Atari Anthology, which I have on the PS2. But yeah, so this game has 12 different Atari arcade games on it. You've got Asteroids, Asteroids Deluxe, Battlezone, Black Widow, Centipede, Gravita, Missile Command, Pong, Space Duel, Super Breakout, Tempest, and Warlords. And yeah, they're all the arcade versions. There's no like 2600 games on here or anything. But yeah, honestly, like, there's no point of really owning like an old Atari compilation like this, considering especially considering Atari 50 just recently came out, and that has like over like 103 games on it, spanning multiple different Atari consoles, everything from the 2600 to Jaguar, plus arcade games as well. But I still wanted to own this just because I thought it was a neat novelty, really, playing old Atari arcade games on the original PlayStation. There it is, got that complete. Yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool to have, and it's in really good condition, by the way. Really good condition. And yeah, this cost me about £4.20, and yeah, I brought it just as a novelty really. I know I don't really need it, especially considering I have Atari 50 now, but I just thought it was cool to have. You know, it was one of the early Atari compilations for the original PlayStation, and you know, it was cheap, so I was like, why not, you know? I thought it was cool to have. Alright, then next up, going back to Tony Hawk once again, because like I keep saying, I am trying to get a full set. Next we have Tony Hawk Skateboarding for the Game Boy Color. Yes, the Game Boy Color version of the very first Tony Hawk game, which for the longest time, the first Pro Skater, it was kind of weird because for the longest time, the only Tony Hawk game I didn't own on more than one platform was actually the very first game. And for the longest time, I only had Tony Hawk Skateboarding, aka Pro Skater 1, for the PlayStation. And that was it. That was the only version of that game I had. Until recently, aka about a month ago in January, when I finally bought the Game Boy Color version for £5 on eBay. And yeah, and just like with Downhill Jams, there's also a loose cart, as you can see. And I'm just missing Pro Skater 3 at the moment. I've got Pro Skater 2 on Game Boy Color, so I just need to get Pro Skater 3, and then I've completed the Game Boy Color set. So yeah, this copy, as you could, I don't know how well you can see, but the front sticker is a bit like sun faded, and there's some weird like, I don't know what that stuff is on the top. But yeah, it's a bit grubby, but hey ho, I did test it out. It does work perfectly fine, so I'm happy about that at least. But yeah. And of course, that's far from the last version of Tony Hawk Skateboarding I need. I still need to get the Dreamcast and the N64 versions and the N-Gage version as well. And yeah, because like I said, I'm trying to get every single version of all the good Tony Hawk games. So I've got a long ways to go, but at least the Game Boy Color set is almost complete now. I just need to get Pro Skater 3, and that'll be it. Alright, and then next up, we're going back to the GameCube here. We have Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. It's been a really long time actually since I last brought a Sonic game. I mean, I know I got Sonic Frontiers for Christmas, but I obviously didn't buy it myself. I think like my mum got me that. But yeah, but it's been a long time since I last brought a Sonic game myself, until getting this. And yeah, and I really wanted this game for a really long time because I had Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube for years now. In fact, that was the very first GameCube game I ever brought, was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And I believe it was even the first game I brought at CEX way back in like late 2014. But yeah, but I needed the first adventure on the GameCube, which I finally have. Yeah, Adventure DX is pretty cool. You know, this one has a bunch of bonus Game Gear games that you could play on here as well. And yeah, never really played the first Sonic Adventure. I mean, I technically do have it already through the Sega Dreamcast collection on the Xbox 60 that has Sonic Adventure on it. And I think I played that a little bit. I know I got a save file of it on my 360, but yeah, I don't think I ever properly played the first Sonic Adventure. And yeah, I'll admit, I haven't tested this out yet because I'm lazy as fuck. But yeah, but I am excited to give in the first Sonic Adventure a proper go, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. And yeah, this cost me 20 quid. It was the most expensive game out of all the games I'm showing in this video. No manual, which is just, I can't believe that. Especially because I paid 20 quid for this and it doesn't come with a manual. But whatever, it's too late now. Seller's already got my money. Just checking the disc. I don't think I've checked the disc before. But yeah, disc looks in really good shape, which is good. But yeah, I'll have to buy a manual for that at some point. But yeah, there it is, Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube. Alright, next moving on to another Tony Hawk game. This will be the last Tony Hawk game for today's episode. Next we have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 for the PC. Oh yes, my favourite game of all time. Got it again, this time for the PC. Now, even though I said I wanted to get every version of every Tony Hawk game, the thing is, I think I might just get like only the console and handheld versions of Tony Hawk. I know I'm showing the PC version of Pro Skater 3 right here. And in the last episode, I showed off the PC version of Pro Skater 2. But I think I decided that I'm not going to bother getting like the rest of the games on PC. Unless I find them really cheap, I don't think I'm going to bother getting like the PC, and especially like the Mac versions of all the Tony Hawk games and stuff, because I'm just not really much of a PC gamer. Pro Skater 3, I made an exception with this one because this is my favourite game in the series by far, and my favourite game of all time. So I was willing to make an exception, for this one, but after this, I don't think I'm going to bother getting the rest of the games on PC. Again, unless I find them really cheap. But yeah. The seller also put this in here as well, like a little post-it note with some cheat codes on it. But yeah. And I'm really close to actually owning every version of Pro Skater 3. I believe the only ones I'm missing now is the Game Boy Color version. I know I'm still need to get that. The N64 version, which only came out in North America. And the Mac version. And I believe that's it. Other than that, I own pretty much every version of this game. I got it for PC, got it for the original PlayStation, the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, the GameCube, and the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, I just need to get those last three, and I'll have every version of the game. I'm not sure if I'll bother getting the Mac version, I don't know, it depends. But yeah, and this cost me about £4, 4 pence, exactly. So yeah, that's how much that cost me. Alright, and next we have another Game Boy Advance game right here, and a very, very pricey one. I spent a lot of damn money on this. Grand Theft Auto Advance. So yeah, this was a GTA game that was exclusive to the Game Boy Advance, and I wanted this one for a really, really, really long time. This did cost me quite a lot, especially considering it's loose cart. It's cost me £11, 30 pence, which is actually a bargain considering, like, I'm not even joking. If you look on eBay right now, I don't know how expensive the American copy of this game is, but like the UK one is really pricey. I mean, loose cart on the low end usually goes for about like 25 quid, and that's just loose cart. So yeah, this is a very, very pricey game. I ended up getting a bargain, but yeah, it was still a hell of a lot of money, especially for a loose cart GBA game. I mean, like, I paid less money for my complete in box American Skateland, you know, that was like £9 something. But yeah, still really happy to have this game. I've wanted this for a really long time, and yeah, I'm pretty close to owning like almost every GTA. I know I still need to get the trilogy, the definitive edition, but I'm waiting for the price to go down even more on that game. But yeah, I pretty much almost own every GTA game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there it is, GTA Advance. Wanted that game for a very long time. And speaking of Game Boy Advance games I've wanted for a very long time, this is one that I've wanted for, God, I don't even know how long. Driver 2 Advance, which as you can see comes with the original instruction manual. So yeah, Driver 2 Advance, obviously the GBA version of Driver 2 on the original PlayStation. Yeah, this was a GBA game I wanted for a really, 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 really long time. Since like at least like 2014, I would say. Yeah, I know it's obviously nowhere near as good as the original PlayStation version. It's obviously extremely limited and all, but like, I don't know, it's just like, I've always been fascinated by this game. You know, if you look at like gameplay of it online, like it is really impressive for the GBA hardware. And Driver 3 especially, I mean Driver 3 is as close as you get to a 3D GTA on the GBA. Like, it's really, really impressive. And I'd like to get the GBA version of that at some point, but that one's really expensive at the moment. But yeah, but Driver 2 Advance I finally got. This was 7 quid. And yeah, it comes with the original instruction manual. But yeah, the inside pages seem to be in okay condition. It's just mainly the front and back. It's a bit scuffed. But yeah, still pretty cool to have, because usually I mainly just get GBA games, just loose car on its own. But yeah, so this cost me 7 quid in total, which again is, in my opinion, a bit pricey, but at least I didn't pay nearly as much as I did with GTA Advance, so yeah, that's good. And then the final game we have here, for the final game for today's episode, this game literally just came in the post yesterday, and it's a game for a console that I've had for only a couple months now. So if you guys have seen my What I Got for Christmas video, you would know that I actually got a Sega Mega Drive for Christmas, and not a Mega Drive Mini, but like an actual original Mega Drive Model 2, complete in the original box as well. And yeah, so because of that, I can now finally start buying Mega Drive games, and I brought one very recently. In fact, I only brought this like a few days ago, and it just came yesterday. Virtua Racing. Oh yes, Virtua Racing on the Sega Mega Drive. So yeah, so if you know anything about this game, you would know that this game is pretty unique, at least on the Mega Drive, because it is the only game on the system that uses the Sega VP chip, or the virtual processor. And basically that was like Sega's answer to the Super FX chip that was on the Super Nintendo. And yeah, this was basically the SVP chip was their own version of that, and it allowed the Mega Drive to produce 3D polygon graphics, as you can see on the back there. I mean, if you look at the game now, it looks super, super, super blocky, and it hasn't aged well at all. But considering this is running on just the plain Mega Drive hardware and not like the 32X or anything, it's pretty insane. I mean, obviously, you know, it's thanks to special chips in the cartridge and all. Still, the fact they managed to get this to run on the Sega Mega Drive is super, super, super impressive. And yeah, it's even got the original Sega sticker on the spine there. And check it out. It's actually my first time opening this up. And yeah, Virtua Racing had a very unique looking cartridge. As you can see right here, it's quite a chunky boy. But there it is. It's a cartridge. And yeah, it's complete. Got the manual right there. This was also another very pricey game. It cost me about £14, 28 pence, I think, including shipping. But yeah, but it is in really good condition, you know, especially like the box and everything. It's a really, really, really good condition copy. of a game that's nearly 30 years old. Yeah, 1994. But yeah, really cool to have. This is actually now my 7th Sega Mega Drive game. I know I've only had the actual system for a couple months, but this is the 7th game I brought for it. Because I brought 2 Mega Game 6 compilation carts, both called Mega Game 6. I've brought those way back in like 2012, I think, at car boot sale. And then I also brought a copy of Streets of Rage, the first one, complete in box at car boot sale. That was also about like 10 years ago. And then last year, I brought a copy of Urban Strike from a car boot sale. That was a loose copy for £5. And then for Christmas, I got Sonic 1 and 2, both complete in box. And now I finally got Virtua Racing complete in box as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to collecting Mega Drive stuff now, like properly collecting it now that I have the system. And yeah, I'll try and get all my games complete in box. But if not, you know, I won't be too fast getting just the loose carts. But yeah, I'm really happy to have a complete in box of Virtua Racing. So yeah, guys, that was today's episode of games I recently brought online. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I do apologise for barely uploading this year. I know I took like a month off of uploading anything on the main channel, and that was mainly due to the fact that, well, recently, like, my mental health's just been kind of like all over the place, and I don't really want to go too in depth on that. Yeah, I just really, as well as like I haven't really had like the motivation to do like YouTube stuff recently. So it's not like I've run out of ideas or didn't want to do YouTube or anything. It's just I didn't have like that drive, you know, to do YouTube, you know, recently. More videos will be coming in the year. I do want to improve my upload schedule. I would like to get at least a video out every single week, but that's not a guarantee though. But I promise that I won't take any more like month off breaks unless I tell you guys that I'm taking a break off of YouTube beforehand. But I promise that I won't just like vanish from YouTube for like a month straight, you know, and not like inform you guys beforehand. But yeah, but anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and peace. I shall see you guys in the next one. Take care.